I have in studio with us Ms. Tin Pei Ling, MP for Marine Parade GRC. So Pei Ling, thanks for coming in today. And your constituency also has its fair share of these high-rise littering problems. Most recently, a 15-year-old held a brick from one of your HDB blocks. So, how do you see us addressing this problem especially, and how would you address it in your constituency?
Well, I think firstly such acts are really inconsiderate and really antisocial, posing hazard not only to the residents around but could be any passerby. And so I think strong actions need to be taken to deter it. I think first of all, public education, we will have to embark on that. It takes everyone to make it work. Secondly, enforcement that is swift and reliable and basically on time, and regular ones I think would be important so that they don't walk away thinking that I can get away with this. And thirdly, I think the penalty must be strong enough to deter future acts from happening.
So do you think there's a need for better camera surveillance? I mean, we already have cameras, but do you think more are needed going forward?
I think there is a balance here because on the one hand, we don't want to have this CCTV nation whereby every corner of the area you have a CCTV basically surveying you. But on the other hand, I do think that leveraging technology such as CCTV does help so that people know that there is concrete and objective evidence. Should you act in such an inconsiderate manner, you have to be prepared for the consequences that come after as well.
So, Pei Ling, you're very active in walking the ground. So what are the more typical high-rise littering cases that you see when you go out?
Well, usually the kind of high-rise litter that I see being thrown out of the window or you see landing on the ground would include things like tissue, sometimes bags of food, and also once in a while you will see larger items such as bottles, and I think in some rare cases we see some very unsavory items such as pads and diapers.
So high-rise littering is a long-standing problem in Singapore. Why do you think it has remained that way?
I think first of all, I would like to caveat that most people within our population are considerate. They understand the perils of such high-rise littering. But I think there are also black sheep amongst us who for some reason are quite recalcitrant, and I would go to the extent of saying that they're very antisocial. And so that's why now and then you always see this kind of items being thrown out of the window, either out of convenience, either out of perhaps a more vengeful or mischievous attitude. So I think now and then we'll always see these, and it is always this group of people who are causing a lot of grief to the people around, to the neighbors around, and especially to the community.
So you earlier talked about public education. Could you perhaps tell us about specific programs in your ward that you've implemented to try to mitigate the problem?
Well, we've tried various ways, including conventional ways of putting up posters and big billboards and banners, as well as even flyers, giving out flyers to try to raise the awareness of the dangers that comes with high-rise littering and why it is important to keep our environment clean and green, because it is a shared environment, a shared home for all. It is an ideal vision. At the same time, we also have ambassadors. They're basically mostly residents who live around but who are more active and willing to step forward and be the face of the campaign to try to convince others, to also, work with us to keep don't do such inconsiderate acts, keep the environment clean. And so these are some of the things that we have been embarking on. But this is a long-term, this is more of a long-term strategy, and it will take time before we can see real changes in terms of attitude amongst the people, but we will not stop there. We will want to continue on this path.
All right, thank you very much for coming in. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Pleasure is mine.
And that was Tin Pei Ling, MP for Marine Parade GRC, on how she's addressing the issue of high-rise littering in her ward.